Welcome to Wanna Bet, the daily gambling game show that takes betting seriously, but not much else. Get our favorite plays on the totals, sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now.
So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Så till kusten kere konsolata konsolferino. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and
Hey, welcome to Wanna Bet. Thank you guys as always for tuning in. Top of the morning to you, or maybe it's afternoon or evening where you're watching. Who knows? I'm Jason. That's Ben. I must screw myself up. We are Wanna Bet. We thank you guys for tuning in. We're here to give you the best plays that we see available on the betting board across all sports right now in real time. We do this 7 days a week. We're constantly monitoring the lines and trying to give you guys these plays when we think we can maximize value. But things do ebb and flow, and you can't always predict the market. So some of these plays I'm going to give you today, I made a couple days ago. Thought I could hold them and still get the value where I played them, and it's not the case. But that is the game we're playing. And Beltway Ben, we do show all our work here. We're fully transparent, unlike most of the mooks out there. It was a weird kind of up and down day for me yesterday. We hit another hockey bet, which is a beautiful thing. And who owned the Chiefs? Owns. We will be back on a little sticks and pucks. The college football parlay wasn't too sweaty. Oregon pulled away like we thought they would. Duke made it a little closer than we thought they would. Arizona State dominated the fourth quarter. Basketball, look, we were all over the San Francisco, Minnesota end of that. We came a couple points short of our adjusted total on Kent State and Cleveland State. Beltway Ben, Cleveland State had 25 points at the half. We still only missed that total by 5. Thought they were going to be good for more than 25. And look, I think the betting gods are telling me to leave the Wizards alone for a minute here. Vooch gets the 9 rebounds, no problem. But the Bulls managed only to score 121 points, Ben, because one of the top 5 three-pointing shooting teams on the planet missed 33 pointers against one of the top 2 bottom worst defensive teams on the planet. I guess that's the way love goes, as Janet Jackson once said.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because at halftime, Vooch has 6 boards, and I feel pretty good about it. But you're looking, and it's like all 6 are offensive rebounds because guys are chucking long rebounds, and it's popping out to Vooch. But no, he ended up grabbing his 10 boards that we needed. I don't know that you should stay away from the Wizards. Maybe just team total and the guy's rebounds a little bit better odds versus this cover the spread.
Mm-hmm.
I've never again, the Wizards are weird because they're winning that game all game just to lose at the end. Like they're still trying to lose, but they're not so bad to get blown out every single game. Now again, the Bulls missed a bunch of threes. Things went well for the Wizards, and the Wizards have been blown out a bunch this year. But there was like times like that Timberwolves game the other night. Somehow they get back in the game late and cut that spread in half. So I don't know that you should stop fading the Wizards, but just maybe not the spread. I would still take opposing teams' total points.
Yeah, and I'm adjusting them, and we'll see. We'll look at the Wizards again this coming week. Anything else? Are we missing anything? I feel like we don't have any other dangling participles before we jump in here.
No, I mean I didn't really talk about. I finished up. I mean, like a half a unit right around there. Florida. Yeah. I was expecting to be down. First off, I should not have thrown Sarr in with Vooch. First quarter rebounds. Sarr only grabbed 1, unfortunately, but finished with 11 in the game. Very weird how that happens. But I thought I was going to be down in the night. Florida's down 31 at halftime to Tennessee. I needed 60 more rushing yards. Shout out to Florida's coaching staff. They knew they had no shot to win, and they were just trying to establish the run game for 4 straight quarters and let us get over that number. So we finished up just under half a unit.
Yeah, and shame on me. 3 times this week, I wrote down the Notre Dame first half and Notre Dame 35.5 for the game against my alma mater, Syracuse.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't attack your alma mater.
Every single time I ended up scratching it out and going with something else on the show. But I did jump that early in the week. It's such a big number. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't want to give it out and look like a schmuck, but yeah. Anywho. All right. First down. Let's get it going. I want to get this to you guys now because this match kicks off in 20 minutes. We've had a strong weekend in soccer again. We have done a lot of work. We're up last night working late on Champions League. We will be not as heavily. I'm just going to tell you, I don't love this slate of Champions League games the way I love some of the others, but we will have plays moving forward. And we will have an Arsenal play midweek. Not the same one we have here, though. So the Gooners are about to host the Spurs North London derby. Yeah, we're just going to go simple here. A lot of our parlays are for bigger money than this. But we're going to take Arsenal to win this match at home where they've been dominant. And we're going to take under 4.5 total goals here. Like, Arsenal gets Odegaard back, which is huge. The Norwegian is a heavily influential midfielder. But you look at their injured list, and including Gabriel, the guy who's leading their attack. And I just don't know that this is one where they're going to light up the scoreboard. They really haven't been lighting up the scoreboard all year. It's basically been 1-0 and 2-0. The occasional 3-0 sprinkled in. But look, the Gunners at home, 4-1-0, 12 goals scored, 1 conceded. Tottenham look okay on the road. But here's the crazy thing about Spurs. They've played 1 road Premiership game, Beltway Ben, since October 5th. Now, they did have Champions League road game in there. But 1 road Premiership game since October 5th. That's a long time to be, I was going to call it White Hart Lane, to be in whatever the hell they call their new stadium. But I have been to White Hart Lane and I have been to Highbury. I know they don't exist anymore. So yeah, you look at what Tottenham's done on the road. Yes, like they got results against Leeds and Everton. And Brighton. But this is a step up in class. I think Arsenal, knowing that they host Bayern Munich in a couple days, Arsenal, this being a Sunday game, not a Saturday match, and Champions League coming around, and with the scale of their injuries, I think they scale it back a little bit here. Are Spurs going to be able to hang multiple goals on an Arsenal team that's got the best defense in the Premiership and maybe the world? I don't think so. Could you play this under 3.5 and get away with it? Do I think it's 2-1 or something like that at the end of the day? Well, I think it could even be 1-0. I'm not going to play Arsenal to nil just because it is a derby and because of their injuries. Maybe they don't possess the ball quite as much as I would normally expect them to. But for minus 150, we're going to take Arsenal to win the match and there to be under 5 total goals in this match.
I'm going to go to NFL and first down. And we're going with a bunch of NFL props that I like all day. We'll start here in this Patriots-Bengals game. I was going to attack the Bengals one way or another, whether it be with running backs, but with Ramondre back and Trevion playing good, I kind of lean Trevion, but I just don't know because Vrabel likes his veteran backs a lot. So with Ramondre returning, I just stayed away from the run game. I will play Hunter Henry over 39.5 receiving yards here at minus 112. He's over this in 2 of his last 3. And it's been an up and down season for him, right? He was over in 3 of their first 5, and then he's under in 4 of their last 6. Like, started off very well, and it looked like, wow, Drake May really likes his tight end. Early in guys' careers, you see them going to the tight end a little bit more.
Yes.
Now, like, it hasn't been the case as much as the season's gone on, but that's also been in part because you have Stephon Diggs doing what he's done, a lot of different receivers beating them, and they haven't played a lot of good matchups for tight ends. Today is one of the best you'll get all year when you're facing a Bengals defense, allowing 94 receiving yards to tight ends. That's the most in the NFL since week 5. 78% of Drake May's dropbacks, Hunter Henry is in the route tree. He's running routes like Hooper's tight end too when he'll be out there a little bit. But usually when he's out there, it's a 2 tight end set and Henry's in there on the field as well. The yak ability for Hunter Henry is always big. This year, long of 23, 17, 24, 31, 18, 27. A lot of tight ends, especially his size, are more of like the big physical ones. He is that, and he can run a little bit, break some tackles, make big time plays. 39.5 against a really bad Bengals defense is too good of a number to pass. So again, Hunter Henry over 39.5 receiving yards at minus 112.
Excellent. Second down for us, we're attacking the Tennessee Titans. And we're going to look for a big bounce back game from Sam Darnold and company here. So we're going to take Sam Darnold to throw 2 or more passing touchdowns, for him to throw for at least 225 yards, and for Jackson Smith and Jigba to account for at least 80 of those 225 passing yards. That is what, plus 190, Beltway Ben?
Yeah.
I can't see the screen here. I don't know why.
You got,
I've laddered this as well, so I'm playing this.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm
Plus
also. Can you
190.
hear me?
Yeah, plus
Yeah,
190.
plus 190. I'm also playing this with Smith and Jigba to have 100 yards, Darnold to have 250 passing yards. But we're going to go with the little bit scaled back situation here. Look, last week, Darnold threw 4 picks against one of the best defenses in the NFL. He still threw for 279 yards. Tennessee against opposing quarterbacks, 71% completion percentage, 102.6 rating, 15 passing touchdowns to 5 interceptions. The forecast in Nashville looks great today. I think Sam Darnold bounces back here. I think that he's been great on the road. McDonald's been great on the road since he took over this team. Nobody's been able to stop Jackson Smith and Jigba. The only times he's stopped is when they're blowing out a team so much he doesn't get the volume. That's why we're playing this at 80 and not the 110 a game that he averages. You can get deep shots against Tennessee. Yes, they got Jeffrey Simmons back last week, and that helped. It showed up quite a bit in their ability to stop the run. But I just think it's a bad matchup for Tennessee, getting a Seattle team where they've got to get Sam Darnold going again. And I think Sam Darnold will get going again. And even if he throws a couple picks along the way, and he might, that is the superpower of this Seattle team. They're the best downfield passing attack in the NFL. And they've been great on the road, and early kickoffs haven't bothered them. So that's where we are. I think it is what it is in that game, and we're playing the hits.
We're going to stay in the NFL on second down. We're going to go to a guy that we've played a pretty good amount. And I was kind of upset that I didn't give him out last week. Turns out it ended well because he did not go over his number against the Ravens after a very, very strong start. Today, though, I think against this Raiders defense, we're going to see Kinshawn Judkins with a big day. So again, Judkins over 69.5 rushing yards at minus 110. Raiders defense, 52.4% success rate against the run. That is the third worst in the NFL since week 5. They're bottom 10 in defensive rush EPA. He's had 20 plus carries in 4 of the last 7 weeks. They told you exactly what they thought about him when in his first game back after missing the offseason and the most important time of the year for a rookie in the NFL. He misses all that time, comes back against the Ravens and has 10 carries and was basically the guy they were going to a bunch. And they couldn't run the ball enough because they were down a lot of points and there were some weird things going on in that game. It was still the second game of the season. But with that being said, Judkins was running the football a bunch in that one, and ever since, nothing's changed. Now, when you look at the 3 games that he didn't have 20-plus carries, 12 in a 23-9 loss against Pittsburgh. It's a divisional game. They were throwing from behind the majority of that one. 9 in a 32-13 loss to New England. Of course, you're down big. You're throwing the ball in that one. And then 17 last week against the Ravens in a weird matchup. He just wasn't really able to get going in the second half. The Raiders defense, as bad as the Ravens were at one point, the Raiders are nowhere near what the Ravens are right now. I think this is going to be a pretty tight game. And Judkins is the go-to guy in an offense that, like, is Shedeur going to be able to play better this week? We all know the offensive line hadn't even heard his voice before last week, it sounded like. And, like, you have to rely on this physical back who, every time he doesn't get the football, if you watch him on the camera, he's furious. Like, he wants the ball. He wants to be involved. They're going to give him the ball a lot in this matchup. I just find it hard to believe that he won't be heavily factored in. Now, is Stefanski not trying to coach there anymore? Do they want to lose? How are they playing this? I don't know, but having Shedeur drop back 30-plus times would be the recipe for a loss here. I think it's going to be a lot of Judkins, and we should see at least one explosive run. If he can get 1 to 2 explosive runs, we'll cash this with no sweat. He's cleared it in 6 of his last 9. So I do like Kinshawn Judkins over 69.5 rushing yards at minus 110.
We're simpatico there. We're aligned. I like that play. Also, Beltway Ben, check out our meeting of the minds. Yesterday was pretty aligned. This might be as good as it's ever going to get.
Yes, I'd agree.
I mean, we're missing an A and half an N, and we're missing.
It looks like it says winner.
E.
Winner. We're winners.
Winner IT. Winner IT. Don't ever call me to be your IT guy. I'm the guy who calls the IT guy.
Win it.
Win it. IT guys. Hopefully, our IT guy Charlie has a new laptop that he can help us get going this week to make the show streamlined and better. Third down. We're going to this Rams-Bucks game, and we're all over Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford, 2 or more passing touchdowns. Matt Stafford to throw for 260 yards. The Rams to win this game plus 146. Look, the Rams are 7.5-point favorites at most places now. The Rams might be the best team in the NFL. The Rams are at home against a beat-up Bucs team that's down their number one running back that maybe, I guess, is getting Godwin back, but what's that even going to look like? With Baker Mayfield averaging 5.7 yards per passing attempt over the last month. That's going to be a tough ask against this Rams defense. Look, Stafford's thrown 24 passing touchdowns since his last interception. Stafford in his last 7 games, 22 passing touchdowns and no picks. And last week, Stafford didn't have to do anything because they got the early lead and Darnold was throwing nothing but picks. And it was a divisional game and McVay played it a little tight. I think McVay looks at this Tampa defense today and says, well, they're number 1 in the NFL in success rate against the run. And they're pretty leaky against the pass. And their number 1 corner's out. And, oh, yeah, when Sam Darnold played these guys, he threw for 341 yards with 4 touchdowns. And, yeah, they held Goff in check, 215 yards and 1 touchdown. Tampa's kind of had Detroit's number. But Drake May threw for 269 and 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen threw for 317 and 3 touchdowns. I think we can throw on them early, get up on them where Baker's throwing 5-yard passes to Cade Otton, and then let them try to matriculate the ball down the field against my defense with their number 2 running back, with a little bit of a beat-up offensive line, and with a smaller quarterback who's not pushing the ball downfield because Evans is hurt. And the rookie receivers run out of a little bit of steam. So that's where I think the game is going. Stafford's thrown for 243 or more yards in 10 of his last 12 home games. He's averaging 250 plus a game this season. And yeah, I think with the injuries to Tampa's secondary, Nakua can go off. Adams can go off. I mean, Adams has been good for a receiving touchdown a game. Does that happen again? Probably. I'm not linking that up here, but have I played that some other ways? Yes, I have. But I think Stafford gets it going here offensively and gets it going early. It would not shock me if he's well on his way in the first half of this game. I think McVay is going to come out at home in attack mode. Hey, Gigi.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do like a lot of different Stafford throwing props tonight. And, well, that'll lead us into one of our plays. We'll go with Kyren Williams over 9.5 receiving yards minus 114. Every single time I take a running back, I bring up the sweat of them getting tackled for a loss of 5 yards in the backfield because it is a serious thing. But in this spot, I'm confident that Williams will have a few big plays because you're facing a Bucs defense that's allowing 59 receiving yards per game to opposing running backs since week 5. That is by far the most in the NFL. Nobody's close. It's not just a 1-week thing either. It's not the week they played Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery where those two combined for 100-plus receiving yards. It wasn't just that week, and it's even since. Last week, we saw James Cook, 66. A few weeks back, we saw Alvin Kamara have 24, clear this number. We also saw Devin Neal have 11. Like, 9.5 is not a big enough number for me when you look at this matchup. Christian McCaffrey, a long time ago, he had 57. That was like 4 or 5 weeks ago. As many touches as they're giving Blake Corum, it's not in the passing game. He's got 5 catches on the season. He is not really a factor in the passing game. They're letting him run the ball a little bit. But Kyren Williams, with the way that he plays and how he is with open field in front of him and the ball in his hands, they like him in the passing game. He's over this number in 7 of 10 games this season. As weird as it is, and it was so good earlier in the year, we saw him go for 60-plus receiving yards in a week earlier this season. It's calmed a little bit, but I do expect Stafford to look his way a lot tonight because, again, this is a massive advantage. When you have the way that Rams offense runs and the attention that's going to be going to all their top wide receivers and even the tight end that Stafford's been able to get involved, I think there's going to be some open things underneath for Kyren Williams. And we also know how brilliant Sean McVay is. Some easy screens to let Kyren Williams go and unleash him that way. So I think it's going to be a big night for Kyren Williams in the receiving game. One more time for the listeners. Kyren Williams over 9.5 receiving yards at minus 114.
You don't bend your hats like this, do you? You wear your hats. I don't see you wearing a hat very often, but you wear it. You probably wear it straight, flat.
It's more flat, but I usually wear it backwards.
Gotcha.
It's rare that I wear a hat forwards.
I never see you really wear a hat. I
wear beanies.
I suppose
beanies is about the only thing.
Yeah, you do wear the beanies. Yeah, I like it. You see me. I'm not averse to wearing a beanie indoors.
No, always. Yeah, no, always.
I'll never get my kids wear them. I just can't.
That's kind of how. But I like wearing it.
I know this is a dad thing. I mean, yeah.
I like wearing it. I used to. There's a slight bend. It's got I don't like it like that. You know. No. You don't remember the Little League World Series? Japan team, they would crack their brims. Have you ever seen that?
Oh yeah,
The
I
Japan
think
team
I
have
did
their
see that.
brims cracked. It's crazy.
Hey, whatever works, whatever gets you
Absolutely.
through the night. Whatever
Absolutely.
gets you through the night. All right, Beltway Ben, I'm going to keep you on your toes here. I'll start with 4th and short since you've got it up there.
Okay.
I've got a 4th and long and a 4th and short. Again, if you're new to the show, 4th and short, quick hitters to get you paid early in these games. First period, first quarter, first half. And then 4th and long are usually long shot bets or long-term bets or maybe long reception, long completion. Get it? Ha, ha, ha. All right, 4th and short, we're going back to the NHL. This is another game that I had circled for a while in terms of a potential first period over. We are going to play the first period over in the Bees going to SJ Sharkies haunts. Bruins at San Jose Sharks. Why do I like the over here? The Bruins are 8-2 to the first period over on the road this season. They're 15-8 to the first period over overall. The Sharks 7-5 to the first period over at home, 13-8 to the first period over overall. Boston is only 5-5 to the over in the last 10 games, but there's been a fair amount of home games in that span. San Jose is 6-4 to the over in the first period. It's a weird start time for the Bruins. I just like the way the Bruins are playing. The Bruins are a team that doesn't just sit back; they attack. A lot of long outlet passes. They draw a fair number of power plays, and I think each of these teams are good for a goal. Out there on the West Coast today on a Sunday afternoon. So we do like the first period over there. 4th and long. Let's look at Jameson Williams' longest reception over 25.5. No Laporta has really opened up the slot for Jameson. He's going against a Giants secondary that's been bad overall. It's also a Giants secondary that's allowed 11 passing completions of 25 yards or more in the last 6 games alone. It's the Lions coming off a loss. The Lions at home, that usually points to 30 or more points being put up by them and the Lions taking their deep shots. It's Dan Campbell back calling the offense. One of the things he didn't like about the offense, the way Morton was calling it, is where the hell is Jameson Williams? And you've seen him go off in the last 3 weeks. He's got a reception of 37 or more in the last 3 games. It's a dome. It's going to be great weather. They're going to be able to chuck it around. Jameson Williams has gone over this in 8 of his last 11 home games, dating back to last season. It wouldn't surprise us if he's, again, over 35 or 40 yards here, to be honest. And if you believe that's going to be the case and he's good for another 37+, then maybe you want to look over at Jared Goff long completion. But Jameson Williams over 25.5 yards, long completion, -115.
Mine will be, I guess, you can call it 4th and long. We're just going to kind of, it's not really a long shot. I mean, we're going with a parlay here. 3 legs, the Ravens, Chiefs, and Cowboys. Go with the Cowboys, plus 303.
Ooh,
now listen.
Spicy.
Yeah, I all week, I was trying to wait and I was going to give out the spread this morning because I thought by now it wouldn't be 3.5, but it's actually now 3. So I just stayed away, and we're going to just take them on the money line. I think they're going to win this game, quite honestly. We'll start with the Ravens. Can't lose. Can't lose at home to the Jets. The Jets are not very good.
No.
They have a lot of issues. I don't see them losing. If they do, I'd be shocked, to be honest with you. And if this is the leg that screws us, then I don't know what to say. The Chiefs on the money line. This right around -180, you can get it. I don't see them losing to the Colts in a must-win spot. Now, we talked about it last week. Denver was a must-win spot, but that was also on the road. There's a lot of situations going on there. They were up 4, had a good shot to win that game, and just kind of fell apart late. When you have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, that duo, and you're going back to Arrowhead in a game against a Colts team that the world's talking about as one of the best teams in the NFL, you're telling me you don't think they're going to come out ready to go? And the Colts have overachieved. Like, it's going to be tough for me to believe that this will keep up. I do like the Chiefs to win today. The Cowboys are the final team. Ben, why are you betting on the Cowboys? I'll be honest with you. I don't really know, except for the fact that as many issues as Dallas has, Philly does too. Like, it's a reality TV show in Dallas with Jerry Jones. I get all that. But he's an idiot in a lot of spots.
Yes,
adding Quinnen Williams, it feels like, and the
defense is definitely better. The defense is way better than a year ago.
Yeah, it just looked good Monday night. Now, you're taking into account the Raiders' offensive line is bottom 5 in the NFL, and that was ugly, but they shut Ashton Jonty down, and their run defense for the past 8 weeks had been one of the worst in the NFL. All of a sudden, they're playing good football. Adding Quinnen Williams is good. Wilson gives them something they didn't have. He's an up-and-down linebacker, but he's playing good. I trust this run defense enough to limit Saquon Barkley. Dak has won 8 of his last 11 games against the Eagles. Like, that's just shocking. The offense has been solid all year. George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, as long as they made curfew last night, they're going to start the opening drive. So I do like what's going on there. The offense is looking really good. The defense is taking steps in the right direction. And their secondary can always get a big play. Like, I know their secondary isn't great, but Jalen Hurts can turn the football over, and wouldn't shock me to see if one came in a big moment here. A.J. Brown's complaining already. The game hasn't started yet today. Supposedly he's already on a podcast or a video game talking trash about his quarterback. Whatever. That's just an awful situation. There's another way to look at it. But again, here, I like the Ravens, Chiefs, and Cowboys on the money line at plus 303.
All righty. Yeah, that Eagles game is going to be interesting. Overtime. I've got 2 parlays and just an NBA play. We're going back to an interception parlay, and it features 2 of the guys who hit for us last week. J.J. McCarthy and Geno Smith are back in the INT parlay, and this week they're joined by Daniel Jones. Look, McCarthy's thrown an interception in every game he's played in. In fact, he's thrown 8 interceptions in just 140 passing attempts. It's a Green Bay defense that is one of the best in the NFL. They're not getting turnovers at quite the rate they did last year, but it's McCarthy. He gives it up. I don't know that I need to belabor that point there. He's going to be under some duress. Parsons is playing out of his mind. Minnesota's offensive line is beat up. And it's J.J. McCarthy who throws line drive fastballs. They get tipped at the line of scrimmage and picked off. Geno, he's back here for good reason. Last week's wasn't egregious, but it still happened, and that's all we care about. 13 interceptions this season, 22 picks for our guy Geno in his last 14 home games going back to the start of last season. That's with 2 different teams. That's with Seattle and Vegas being his home team. He's been really good for multiple interceptions lately. I don't know if you were watching last week. Myles Garrett had 3 sacks in the first half. Myles Garrett had 4 sacks. Then he raised his hand, said, I'm out. I got my 4. I'm going to save it for next week. I'm going to go get Geno's ass next week on that fast track out there in Vegas. Why do I bring that up? Because Geno under pressure really has the INT rate surge. And Cleveland's defense, while it isn't as great on the road as at home, they get after you. I think they're good for an interception today. Daniel Jones has quietly thrown 4 picks in his last 2 games. If you look at his turnover-worthy throws on True Media like I do, those numbers are starting to get back up to where they were. It's outdoors for a dome team. Things aren't going to be as crisp, and I think they're going to have to chase the game. You know, if you watch this show every week or every day, we're already on the Chiefs a bunch of different ways. It's a do-or-die spot for the Chiefs, and the Chiefs' passing game has been excellent at home. Why do I bring that up? Because they don't want Jonathan Taylor to be able to run the ball 30 times in this game. They want Daniel Jones to have to chuck it around, and if/when he does, I believe we'll get a pick here. Do I love the fact that the Chiefs only have like 6 picks this year? I don't, frankly. But I also think I've seen Daniel Jones in big spots before. You put those together, it's plus 400. We've also got a running back parlay. Give us Bijan, McCaffrey, and Gibbs, each to account for 100 scrimmage yards and score a touchdown each. That is plus 500. I'm not going to go into detail here. Like, we know Gibbs is playing the Giants. They're the worst team in the league, or one of the worst against running backs. They allow over 5.5 to carry. You look at success rate, they suck. That factors in down distance, what another team needs to win on the ground. They also give up the most explosive runs in the league, and I think Gibbs is going to gouge them between the 20s. Gibbs has 41 touchdowns in his last 41 games. McCaffrey is a scrimmage monster. We know this. The state of San Francisco's offense sucks. He's touching the ball more than anybody in the NFL. It's a must-win game at home on a Monday night against Carolina, his old team. He's on pace for 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards. Did I mention he's on pace to touch the ball more than even he ever has before? I just think Purdy's throwing it to him a bunch. I think Purdy's handing it off to him a bunch. And then Bijan, look, he's owned the Saints. 19 touches for 123 and 2 touchdowns. 18 touches for 131 and a touchdown. 11 touches for 74. Okay. 23 touches for 144 and 2 touchdowns. Cousins isn't great. I get it. But Cousins has had a week to prepare. And Cousins is smart enough to know that the Saints are allowing 85% completions when you throw to running backs. I mean, it's not rocket science here. It's in a dome. It's not a great Saints defense. And I think Cousins is smart enough to know that if I get the ball in the hands of my best player, then I'm not getting my ass kicked in the backfield. I think it's as simple as that. No London means probably even more Bijan. he was going over 100, but he was averaging 130. And then he had the blip where he didn't get it even to 100 for 3 weeks. And he bounced back last week. Zach Robinson is an idiot, yes, but I don't think he gets in our way here. And then, look, I also like the Heat on the money line, minus 102. The Heat are a covering machine, and the Sixers have covered pretty well also. But I just like the way the Heat are playing basketball right now. They're buying into everything that Spoelstra is selling. They got Bam back. They were scoring at a crazy rate even without Bam. And I just think it's going to be too much for a Sixers team that is faded after a fast start, dealing with Embiid injuries again. So I think the Heat win that basketball game, Ben.
Yeah. I got like a number of plays. NFL Sunday, so there's a lot of plays that I like, and I wanted to give out the regular plays, and we'll also do parlays that we always do. So I'll start with a few regular plays. We'll start in this Ravens game. A.D. Mitchell over 32.5 receiving yards at minus 112, and we're also going to take him for over 2.5 receptions, which you can get at minus 122. The Jets really don't have many weapons except for Garrett Wilson, and we know where Garrett Wilson is. He, of course, is on the IR, will not be playing this week. As good as the Ravens defense has been, they're still bottom 8 in receiving yards to opposing wide receivers over the last 7 weeks. Nothing is really going their way in that area, and some of that is because they're up big early and teams are throwing from behind late. That's fine. Give us that here. As long as the Jets are down 2+ scores, it's going to be Tyrod Taylor chucking the football across the field, and A.D. Mitchell's going to be on the field. Last week, he had just 1 catch for 10 yards, but they were on 6 targets, and most of them were big plays and drops for A.D. Mitchell. Like, Taylor's going to be throwing the football more than Fields did. It's clear their offense was making a point of emphasis to get one of the big additions in that Sauce Gardner trade, the football. Now, you also got 2 first-round picks. There's a lot else there. But to make A.D. Mitchell look good in New York, it wouldn't surprise me. We've seen him have big weeks before. I mean, that game against the Rams, if he doesn't fumble it at the goal line, they probably win the game. But that got him benched there. Like, that completely got it, put him on a sour foot. Here in New York, there's enough jokes going on and stuff going on there where they'll let him go out and do what he needs to do. I do think he catches 3 passes. I think he has a big one. So I like him over 2.5 receptions at minus 122. And I also like him over 32.5 receiving yards at minus 112. Now, another play, just straight up regular official play, 1 unit. We're going Rome Odunze over 50.5 receiving yards. Wide receivers have had very strong days against Pittsburgh over the last 8 weeks. Now, last week, you can look at the Bengals game. Joe Flacco was cooked. Like, he's not 100%. He's dealing with some injury. T. Higgins had 63. Chase had 30, and they were on a combined 18 targets. Chase, it was a weird week. He, of course, was frustrated. You had the spitting incident. A very weird week for that duo, and being able to shut them down to 93 yards is impressive. But look at Ladd McConkey the week before, 107. Pittman and Pierce both had 115 each the week before that for Indianapolis. Like, Odunze is going to get the targets. He's a big-time playmaker. A lot of his targets are way down the field, and it's Caleb Williams taking a chance. He's got a reception of 20-plus yards or more in 8 of his last 10 games. I just think it's going to be a big day for Rome Odunze, and they're going to have to throw the football because I think Pittsburgh's going to kind of make it a point of emphasis to stop a Ben Johnson-led running offense because we know they're going to, they'll sit on a lead. We saw it last week where they were, setting up Santos for a 50-yard field goal. And I'm like, you guys think you got it that good, but they don't want Caleb Williams, especially in the cold, trying to force anything. Here we have our tight end parlay. We do one of these a week. Jonnu Smith screwed us last week. All the commenters made a point of emphasis. He is banned. Jonnu Smith for the rest of this season is banned by me. You can play him.
Straight up red card?
Yes, straight up banned.
I'm not getting on him.
Okay, well, yeah. If I give him out, it's a red card. Veto the play. I cannot take Jonnu Smith anymore. Now, depends. If Aaron Rodgers, I don't know. Maybe not banned. Possibly. You give the grade.
He's banned.
You think?
He's
but
banned.
what if Mason Rudolph's a different quarterback? You know what I mean?
That is true.
What if Rodgers is? I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe he's banned with Rodgers. He's banned with Rodgers.
Period. He's at least banned with Rodgers. I will agree there.
Hey, with any luck, Rodgers is banned himself because I think they're going to win with Rudolph today, and take that 3.5 with Pittsburgh, and then I wouldn't shock me if Mason Rudolph stays as their quarterback.
Yeah, and he played very good after taking over last week. I mean, he was efficient, and you didn't have him MFing everybody walking off the field like the other guy. But
how about
we're going to go with a tight end parlay in overtime. Travis Kelce, 40-plus receiving yards. Hunter Henry, 30-plus receiving yards. And Gunnar Helm, 2+ receptions. Now, just 2 minutes ago, we have the inactives. I'm not sure. We've been live. I don't know if Chig Okonkwo is playing or not. I'm guessing he is. But even if he does play, Gunnar Helms should have no issue catching 2 passes. He's done it in more than half of his games this season. Hunter Henry, we gave it out as an official play. 30 yards should be no issue. We took him to 39.5. The Bengals suck against tight ends. And then Travis Kelce, 40+ against the Colts defense, allowing the second most receiving yards to tight ends on the year. I liked Kelsey's regular number, but instead I just bring it down here and parlay these together to get us to plus 148. Now, we're also going to play another parlay here that we really like in the NFL. This is a running back parlay. Kinshawn Judkins, 50+ rush yards. David Montgomery, 40+ rush yards.
Chig is not inactive.
So
Chig
he's
is
playing.
Chig is not listed in the inactives.
Okay, so he's playing. I figured he would. It was questionable. I didn't fully know, but I still feel good about Helm. I think he'll catch 2 passes. He's done it with Chig on the field. I was hoping he'd be out because I would be playing Helm by himself if Chig was out with this matchup against Seattle. But we'll just take 2 receptions there. Here's the running back parlay. We had our tight end parlay. Here's the running back one. We have 2 rushing yards and a receptions. Kinshawn Judkins, 50+ rush yards. David Montgomery, 40+ rush yards. And Kyron Williams, 2+ receptions, which you can also play by itself. Minus 146. Kyron Williams over 1.5 receptions. You can make that an official play. I know there's some juice there. Minus 146. I would still take it. But here we have Judkins. We're taking him down to 50. He's done this in way more than half of his games. I think it's going to be a heavy run game for him. Do you really want Shador going out there and chucking it across the field and embarrassing not only himself, but you guys as a team because of how you've handled that situation? I don't think so. Judkins 50+ should be no issue. David Montgomery. I talked about him yesterday. We gave him out as an official play. You can go back and watch yesterday's episode. I think it's going to be him and Jahmyr Gibbs eating regardless. Both of them should have big days. The Giants suck against the run. We talked about Campbell calling plays. Now that he's calling plays, you don't think he's going to want to get his guy Montgomery and more, who at the podium. And Campbell's been pretty honest. You have to weigh coaches where they are at the podium. There's some like Todd Monken. When Todd Monken talks, I buy what he says because he's honest. Yeah. When Dan Campbell talks, I buy what he says because he's honest. He's been talking about wanting to get Montgomery the football more. Him calling plays, you have to imagine that. And then Kyron Williams, 2+ receptions to get us to plus 176. Talked about it before. I think it's a big day. Now, I did want to give out one quick NBA play. Not a parlay, just regular points. SGA, 35+ points at plus 160. Listen, this is a guy that was doing this regularly last year. Now, he's finished above 30 in almost every game this year, but it's usually 31 or 33. He hasn't got to that 35-point mark. I think against this Trailblazers defense, we're going to see tons of points. They're bottom 5 in the NBA defensively in opponent points over their last 6 games. This should be a spot where we see both teams going back and forth down the stretch. SGA is going to get to the free throw line 10+ times. We know how that goes. And 35+ points at plus 160. I just really like the value against the defense that we've seen him dominate before. So again, SGA, 35+ points against the Trailblazers at plus 160.
Excellent. Oh yeah. I know you got a lot going on. Once we get the laptop resolved, if you can add the web address to the stick, you know what I mean, to the logo, then I'll get the stickers made.
Yeah. No, I can do that. I can do that soon. I'll try to do it by today or tomorrow. We did have one comment though that I wanted to bring up.
Great.
Mike Fuentes, he always comments. He said, "Is there any chance that we can do a 4th and long bets for the next few days?" This is actually a good idea. The next few days for those of them that have to travel for Thanksgiving to non-sports betting states. I will make sure that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, basically Thanksgiving NFL plays.
So he wants it for those games. Yes, I mean, those games will probably feature early on my picks.
They're already on. I've already seen. Yeah, I'll make sure I do that.
And we've got Champions League back, and like I said, there's and I don't think I'm going to be on a ton of college basketball, because I'm trying to work early, and with the way these tournaments work, you don't get the matchups so late. Right, so I'm probably going to lay low on a lot of that. And the early week NBA card, I didn't have as much circled as I normally do. So, yeah, we'll be cognizant of that and try to focus on those games early in the week. Between that and Champions League, that's probably going to be the bulk of what I do.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'll have some college basketball, of course, with it being feast week and everything, but I'll make sure I do a 4th and long every day, 1 to 2 plays of early look aheads to that Thanksgiving matchup.
I'm also going to yellow card myself for yesterday. I should have really just been like, Ben, give me 2 minutes. I want to just look at a couple of apps here and done more on that Bayern Munich game. Because with every fiber in my soul, I knew they were going to beat Freiburg. And, I knew they were going to beat them probably by more than a goal. And I should have, I should have just taken a sec. I was just scrambling, having to go to that basketball tournament. But God, I wish I would have just taken a couple minutes and compared a couple of more apps, and I wish I didn't have to run right and jump in my car and go to Wilmington, because like they were going. I wish I'd have given out -1. Like I wish I would have just gone with Kane and Diaz. So anyway, I feel like we left a lot of meat on the bone there, and that's on me, because that was a pristine time to live bet them, and the money line's not near. I mean, it was good, but I should have done better. So mea culpa. That's on me. All right. Wish everybody best. Oh yeah. Put, if you don't mind, Ben, put the numbers up there, because we do what we do. Yeah. There you go. We're on NFL every day. We're looking ahead on soccer. We're looking ahead in the NBA, anywhere where you can. We're trying to find you guys value 7 days a week. Yeah, there'll be a show Thanksgiving morning. It's probably, Ben, you're okay with doing it early, right? Because I got to go to the Turkey Bowl.
I thought you wanted to do it.
Or do you want to do it the night before?
Wednesday night.
Do it Wednesday?
Yeah, I can do it Wednesday.
Let's do that.
I play basketball.
We'll do it Wednesday.
And then after that, I'll stop by the station. We can just do it from there, or that way.
Okay. So we'll have Thanksgiving show will be up by Wednesday night. And yeah, it's a big week. A lot to bet on. I hope we do it well. We appreciate you guys for tuning in.